Today, we're going to learn about mountain lions and sword ferns. So, let's start with this. We need to have a piece of paper, an eraser, a pencil. If you have a Sharpie, a really nice Sharpie with a really fine point, that's what we'd like. If you have some colored pencils, just ordinary colored pencils around your house, that would be great. I'm going to use watercolored pencils, which is very close to regular colored pencils, only in the end you put water on them. And I also wanted to mention that if you wanted to just use watercolors, you could do that. Okay, so there'll be a place where I stop after we've done our general pictures, our outlining, and then I stop and people can go get their colored pencils or watercolors if you're going to do that. Okay, so let's start by looking at some awesome pictures. So, mountain lions. Now, I live in the Santa Cruz Mountain area. And mountain lions love to be up in the mountains here. And here's kind of a picture of how the redwoods look. And so here's the mama and the baby there. And so here's a close-up of the face there. And, you don't see them that often. They're definitely there. They're kind of shy. Oh, look. And the babies have kind of spots on them, and they're a little bit more grayish than the older mountain lions, which are more like kind of yellowy. And here's the redwoods. Again, that's where around here, that's where they like to live. Yeah, the redwoods here. There we go. There's the sword fern. We're going to be drawing sword ferns today. And another one kind of relaxing on a mossy rock there. And up in a tree. Sometimes they'll just rest up in a tree. You just don't know. They can climb trees. They have really sharp claws. There. Here's another one up in a tree. That doesn't look, it looks like it's, letting you know, don't mess with me here. So this is the reference that we're going to be using for our mountain lion today. And I want you to keep in mind that the face is quite little compared with the legs and the rest of the body. The legs are hugely strong. It can leap 20 feet. It can leap like 2 car lengths up. It can go up. It goes up the cliffs, up the canyons. So very strong back legs. Kind of like a kangaroo, right? And just a really strong animal. And it uses that tail for balance. Look at that big tail. Big tail. But the head itself is quite small compared to the whole rest of the creature. Yeah. So before we do any more, what I'd like to do is start us with our pencil. Now, you're going to use just an ordinary colored pencil. I'm actually going to use a charcoal because I really want you to be able to see this, right? So the first thing we're going to do, it doesn't matter what size paper you have, honestly. You're just going to do kind of an oval. Now, I'm doing an oval few times just so you can see how that goes. It's a squashed oval, right? Squashed oval. And just so you can see that. So, and then right next to that squashed oval will be kind of a smaller circle for the face. Smaller circle for the face, right? Oh, good. So we kind of have that squashed oval in the middle, and there's a little space around. A little bit of space, that's okay. And so the next thing I need you to know, that just do a circle back here like here. Just do that like that. See that? These are all helper lines. These are not going to stay in your picture. They're going to help us know where to put things. Now, the thing about mountain lions, and here, let's show you this picture here again, and many animals, they have a leg that kind of comes like this, see, like a cat does. It goes whoop like that, like this. And then these are straight in the front. So this part is really fat, very, very big. So we're actually going to be doing this kind of like this, right. And then it goes back a tiny bit like this, just a tiny bit, not a lot. And then it's got a really huge foot. A really, really, really huge foot. So let's just put that in very loosely. Don't press hard, okay? We're not going to press hard. Yeah. And then over here, the same thing, but they're straight down like this. Straight down. And then kind of a fat paw. We're going to have a fat paw. Well, Linda, and I thought that it had a really long leg. Well, it does. Look at how long leg, a long tail. Very long tail. So let's put that tail in. Here we go. Long tail like that. Long tail. So the tail has two sides. So let's do it like that. Oh, it's really fat. Big long thing. And now we only have two legs here. We probably want some more legs, right? So let's put another one over here. And it's kind of not be as far down as here. So this is the one closest to you. So that's a little bit further back. And notice these shapes that I'm creating this with. These are just helper lines. They're not going to stay there. And another one over here so that we'll have another foot over here, right? Foot here. Or you could put a foot back here. It doesn't matter where you put it. We're going to do 4 feet though. Right. Good. Now, let's give it a bit of a neck here, sort of a bit of a neck here. Right. Now, we're going to have our mountain lion looking at us. And I want you to look, it's kind of wide, this face here, but then it has a kind of a snout and not big ears. They're not big ears. So go ahead, let's put on those ears. That's like a fun thing to start with, putting on those little ears. You know, they're not too big. They're a bit sharp, but not that. And then the next thing here that we can do is let's give it like a triangle nose, just for now. This will help you. And then over here are eyes that are kind of not, they're not round. They're more like almond shaped like that, right? Right, like that. Oh, good. And let's just give it a slightly longer jaw here, like that, right? And then here, meow. It kind of has like a meow mouth, like a kitty cat, like that, right? And then it has a couple of little things in here, you know, and that's a very good start for that. Now, we're going to move on though. We did this. So the next thing I want to talk about is the sword ferns. Western sword ferns or redwood sword ferns are in the redwood forest. And I want to show you some right here. Now, this one here, at the very, see, here's a sword fern right here. There, it's a sword fern stand, and it's very close to a sword fern. It's so close that most people can't tell the difference. And see, it has what's a frond in here, and it starts to unfurl. This is very young, and it's really tight like a bud, and then it unfurls for the whole plant. And this has even got a little fuzz still on here from being a baby, because some babies are fuzzy. And you'll notice the backs are pretty clean like that. So this is a very young one. It's still blossoming here. But now what I want you to see, what happens when they get older. When they get much older, and each one of these leaves, as it were, these whole leaves here, can live a couple of years. The whole plant can live, generations, actually. I want you to see, it might be a little hard to see, but these are spores. See those little dots? These are spores. And this is one way that it makes babies. It generates another way. It's through the roots. It spreads its roots and goes somewhere and makes new babies there. But this is another way, is spores. And they're like almost invisible. When these open up, they just fly away into the breeze. So you'll see this on older ones. Let me see if I can find an older one. Here's an older. Look. Oh, now you can really see them. Now, the reason you can really see these is it's old and it's gotten dirty. It's very just that the dirts cling to them, but you can really see these little tiny spores on the back. And the young ones don't have that. Oh, look, here's little spore seeds. Oh, look at you. Aw, there. Okay, good. So they're old. We'll talk about them in a little bit. The next thing I want you to do is take your pencil. I'm going to be using this here. And we're going to be drawing a redwood fern. Now, redwood ferns are tall. I mean, back in the dinosaur age, they were taller than me or you. But now they're pretty tall. And don't worry if you go over the legs. So I'm going to make it kind of like a waterfall like that. And it's okay to go over the feet because it's walking through the forest. And this would be a redwood forest in this case, although it could be something else. And so I made a few of these lines, and then I want you to see, here, look carefully. Here, let's have you see. See how it goes. Da-da. Here we go. Yeah, it's got leaf, 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 like that. So we're going to do leaf, leaf, leaf. And then the leaves get fatter as you go up, fatter, fatter, fatter. And then they get skinnier as you get towards the end. Skinny, skinny, skinny. Okay. And they're on both sides, though. They're on both sides. So that's exactly what I want you to do. Is take these pieces here, and don't worry if it overlaps, it goes on top of each other. Don't even worry about that. And we're just going to make each one of these have a bunch of little tiny leaves. And actually, the whole thing is one big leaf. This is a part of the leaf, like this here, there. Good. And we're just going to do that. That's your job right now. Your job is to do this here. And so, redwood sword ferns are really interesting. There are some animals that eat that. Deer will eat a young redwood sword fern because it's tender and yummy. Maybe some other animals do too. It will last even if a fire comes through. It might burn the leaves, but the roots underground, really very soon after the fire goes by, will sprout again. Usually, and so that makes them something that comes back. It comes back, it comes back, come back. And what they do is they maintain a lot of moisture in the soil, and they're usually around the redwoods because the redwoods provide a drip off their trees. When the fog comes up, it drips, and then they're able to take that drip in not only in their leaves but in their roots. So they need to have that there. So I'm going to put another one over here. It doesn't matter if you cover something up. So I just like the 4 is good. Oh, 5, good. Okay, so here we go. So we're doing a piece of the leaf here, piece of leaf. You can do as many of these as you actually want there, and you can see how they go there. And what we're doing is we're outlining here, just outlining. There we go. Good. There. Now, these ferns, and these particular ferns, or the relatives of these particular ferns, they've been here maybe 400 million years. I mean, like really a long time. Seriously, a very long time. The time of the dinosaurs, you can imagine if these were like totally tall. I mean, like taller than me and you, or on my shoulders, me and you. They would just be all over the place, and you'd have to wade through them. You wouldn't even be able to see where you were going, right? Good. This part is done. I know, this is quick. This part is done. The next part I want you to do now is I want you to get out your Sharpie. And I hope you do have a Sharpie with a really fine point. See, it's got a fine point on that. If you don't, take your pencil again. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be outlining. And you can follow me because you're not doing any of the helper lines. You're not doing any of the helper lines. You're just going to go out here. And let's start with this one ear over here. We're going to go ear, and then we're going to go all the way over here on its back, down its awesome fat tail. It's kind of like a snake, right? Kind of a snake. Okay. And now we're going to come down for the legs, but be really careful because I have a little overlap here. So I'm not going to go right through there, but you'll know what to do. And then here's his little feet. Hello, feet. You are good feet. And then we're going to come back up here like this. Don't worry about the other leg in the back. We're just going to do these two right here, okay? And then here's another one. Oh, look at that. And we're going to go straight to this one here and come on down, but you can see it's covered up. That's okay. We're going to cover that up. If yours isn't, then do that paw, right? And you're going to come up over here. Perfect. Now, go ahead. Let's get that face. So let's just come over here, right, and get that ear, right? And the face, now, it's okay to be a little bit fluffy here, right? A little fluffy, not on the chin so much, because it's kind of almost like got like little whiskery things there, which is kind of fun. Okay, there. And it's got this almond eyes, right? Almond eyes. There. And when they're babies, they're born with blue eyes. Isn't that kind of fun? kind of born with blue eyes, but these are pretty dark right here, and a couple of these kind of features here. There. And then you could bring this up a little bit like that. There we go. There. And so let's put our other foot in here, our back leg over here, and again, there we go. If it's covered up, don't even worry about it. Okay. And then here, mine is covered up, but part of it, I'm going to get part of this in here anyway. There we go. Well, that part's great. Now let's go back over our ferns. Do these ferns. Here we go. There. There. I always love being around the redwood sword ferns because I know that's a sign there's a lot of moisture and water there. And they're usually not terribly far from maybe a river or a little creek, maybe. You know, some water coming down. It's same with the redwood trees. They frequently like to be in areas where there's some water. There. So you're just going to trace over where you already did these lines here. There we go. Now the thing about mountain lions, I mean, there's wonderful things about mountain lions. Of course, they're really big. The mama mountain lion is actually bigger than the daddy mountain lion, or the male mountain lion. And of course the mama raises the cubs, and the cubs stay with the mama for maybe, they could be as long as 2 years, you know, or less. And they learn how to hunt, and they like to eat deer. That is a thing, but they'll eat littler things than deer. They'll eat a little mouse if it happens to be right there and they're hungry. Yeah, of course they would. They're definitely meat eaters. They have really strong jaws. They're nocturnal. They're nocturnal. So it's really unlikely that you're going to come across one while you're hiking. It's really unlikely, okay? If you did, then what you do is you just don't do anything fast. You just kind of back away from it. Maybe you put your arms out. Some people say to make some noises, but the idea is don't get in between a mama and her cubs, though. That would be a mistake. So here we go here, and look, we're just finishing this up here with our pen, right? Good. Just roughly, here we go. There we are. Yeah. So even now, there's many kinds of ferns. And these are one of the older kinds, or related to some of the older ferns. Ferns are one of the earliest kind of plants. Before the dinosaurs. I'll bet the dinosaurs were happy that they were there, though. And there we go. Look at that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to erase. Yeah, we're going to erase all of this. So let's do that. It doesn't have to be a great job. It's just a little bit, especially for your mountain lion with the helper lines. We want those helper lines gone. Oh, that's great. And don't worry so much about the ferns, but the helper lines here, because we don't need this, right? We don't need this. Oh, that's perfect. Good. So this is your opportunity now to get your colored pencils, your watercolored pencils, or if you're going to do this in watercolor, get yourself ready for that. Okay. So I hope you have your watercolored pencils. I have my watercolored pencils, or if you have your just regular colored pencils, we're going to do those. If you have watercolor, just plain watercolors, you could do that, but you need to remember to put a drop of water in each of your colors if you're using this kind here, so that it's not really thick. Okay, I'm actually going to be demonstrating with pencils. For our next lesson after this, maybe we'll do nothing but watercolors. But right now we're going to be doing this. So I'm going to look in here. Here's what our colors look like for our animal. Let's use our reference. It's kind of golden. A little tiny bit brown gold up here and lighter gold here. And the face is a little bit lighter. So I'm going to take a golden kind of color, and this is deep cadmium. And let's put some color on here. So whether you have watercolored pencils or whether you have regular pencils, please just put some color on. It's still the rule when you're using pencils is to do layers. You're going to do layers. Layers really make a difference and make it rich. And you can control how the colors look. And you put more than one kind of color on. Don't just do one color. Don't press hard. You're doing layers. A little bit on the face. Hello, face. You are a good face. Look at that. Good. Now, I might come back to this, but here's another color I'm going to use here. Oh, straw yellow. Let's see what that is. A bit more yellow. Okay, that's okay. Now, I know this is more yellow than it is, but don't worry. We're going to be blending our colors. We're going to be blending our colors. Let's see if we can find another one in here. This is a fairly light one. This one here, baked earth. Let's see what that is. That would be probably a little darker, probably. Let's see. So a little bit up here. Here we go. See how many layers? I think I've already got 3 layers. We have 3 layers. Just keep on putting layers on. That's your job. The darker colors I put around a little bit for shading around the face here. And then around the edge of the ears is a little bit darker. Yep. Maybe on the back legs here a little bit might be a little bit darker, like that. Okay. And then more. We're going to add a little bit more. Okay. There, this is mustard. Mustard. It's a little darker than that. Brown mustard. It would be a brown mustard. And since these are watercolor pencils, it doesn't matter that I've created some lines in here. But if you're using just regular pencils, don't do what I just did. Try not to get the lines. Just try to be softer. There we go. Okay. Well, you know, but it's an experiment. Every time you do something, you learn. That's important. Okay, so I'll just keep adding some more colors, and then these will mix down a little bit lighter. There, and then I might even want to go back and come back to some of these other colors in here. So for another layer. So we have a really nice rich color on our mountain lion. Hello, mountain lion. You are good. Now let's go to our here's the darker one. The older ones are darker, and the younger ones are a little bit lighter, just a little bit. So we're just going to mix our colors again. Just put that green in. So I'm going to use a few greens because the colors change if it's in the shadow or the shade, or if it's, you know, underneath another leaf, or, you know, the colors are a change. And not only that, each leaf has got its own sets of colors too. So, you know, that's why I mix my colors. Because there is no one color on anything. It's really blended because there's shadows and there's different kinds of colors on different kinds of things. You know, a lot of reasons. Time of the day. It could be morning or evening or night. It's not going to be the same color. It's just not going to be the same colors. Really. Okay, and look, here we go. I'm going to mix more colors in here. There. So when you see ferns, you know that you're in a place that doesn't have a lot of sun. They don't want a lot of sun, but they really do need a lot of moisture. So you're going to see that. And so that's a sign, and you will find it in the canyons or wherever the redwood trees are. Oh, you're going to find these, and I'm just having fun putting my colors in here, because when I put the water on, that's for me. When I put the water on, this will really blend nicely. Now, for you, whether you just use this or you use regular colored pencil, you're just going to keep on doing what I'm putting, to put lots more colors on. Lots more colors on. That's it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now, the next thing I'm going to do here, it's kind of brown. Now, if I had more time, I'd do more things like with some other medium, but I'm just putting a little bit of color in here. Some of the very same colors that I might have already used, but they're going to be done differently, because now I'm going to mix a little bit of greens in here, because, or maybe, I don't know, what color is this? This looks good. Maybe a little bit of shadowing here, right in here. That would be kind of cool, right by his little feet. Could be a little shadowing. Yeah, that's okay. That, you know, there's all kinds of colors. Good, and that's it. I don't want to press hard. Don't press hard. Don't press hard. Don't press hard. Okay, that's it for this. So now we're going to move on, because the very next thing I am doing is I'm applying water to my animal and to the plants. But you, if you just did watercolor pencils or regular pencils, I'm going to ask you to go back and add more color, another layer. Lots of layers to what you're doing. And if you're just using plain watercolor, make sure there's enough water in the watercolor so it spreads easily. You know, because you don't want it to be too thick because it kind of blops up on you. You know, that eye wasn't quite the way I wanted it to be. I might come back and get one of my dark colors for my eyes in here. My highlight eyeball, that's not as dark as I want, but it's still, we can go back later. And then we're going to come out, here we go, with our little ferns. Yeah, and I just kind of, every stroke you do should repeat how you already drew it. So here I'm making little tiny strokes going out like little grasses because I just want to make sure that it kind of goes out like that. I'm not just going there. Good. There we go. Out for each one of these. So one of the reasons I like doing mountain lions is because they're pretty magical. You know, they can live almost anywhere. They live in the deserts. They can live in high country and very cold country. They can, and now we're going to do the ground, right? The ground. They can live in the redwoods. Of course, around here, that's what we have. But they can live in the deserts. They live all over North and South America. They're also called a puma and a cougar. It's the same thing. In fact, they have more names than almost any other kind of animal because people call them different names depending on where they are, but they're all the same animal. Right, so there we go. Look. This is so done for now. It doesn't mean that you can't do something else. If I had more time, I'd put more chalk on the top. That would give it some color for the tippy top. And oh my gosh, you did such a good job. Oh my goodness, well done. Here we go. Mountain lion and sword ferns. Awesome.